Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel, Zion City Gate. Your life is about to turn around 360. God is going to do awesome things. Make sure you click on the subscribe button and join us so that you get alerts for every weekly new teachings on the scriptures. You know, God is using these words to change lives and bring testimonies, and I know God will change your life too. I want you to get excited. Just get yourself prepared as you launch in, and God is going to do awesome things. Listen and be blessed. We love you.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 13. We read from verse 13, and I want to give you a foundational teaching about friendship. Paul writing says something. I don't know. Can you use KJV? I don't know which one is T. Okay, thank you. He said, "Now for a recompense in the same, I speak as unto my children, be ye also enlarged." And then he said something is here. He said, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with an unbeliever." For somebody, who is he talking about here? He said, "Do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever." So if you are using a normal Bible, you should underline unbeliever, because we're going to go to the to discuss the term unbeliever, and also we're going to look at the term unequally yoked. All right? Because if you look here, the word being yoked is enough. If you say somebody is yoked with somebody, it means you are joined with somebody. But here he used the word unequally yoked with an unbeliever. Now, before we touch that place, he said, "For what fellowship?" Now, how? Because go back. Because I want to take this one after the other. He said, "Be ye not unequally yoked with unbelievers." Then he went further to tell us how you can be unequally yoked. And now he mentioned the word fellowship. Touch somebody, say, "Who do you fellowship with?" He said, "For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness?" So if you have your Bible, righteousness with unrighteousness, that means righteousness cannot have fellowship with unrighteousness. And what communion has light with darkness? And what concord has Christ with Belial? And what part has he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement has the temple of God? So he's trying to tell you how to be equally yoked. And what? So he's telling you in agreement, in fellowship, in this. So he's giving you how to know. Because I know some people are very vast in the scriptures. And also we're going to touch on that. Because somebody said to me, he said, "Papa, we are not supposed to be friends with unbelievers." But the Bible said that they said that Jesus was friends with drunkards. Number one, I said to him, Jesus didn't say, "I am a friend to drunkards." They said. He wasn't the one saying. They said. But Jesus made a statement. So we're going to go to that verse after we have studied this verse. So please go back. Where did we start? Please come with pen and paper. Or I won't want you to use your phone, because you can easily switch to Facebook or Instagram. So come with pen and paper. don't always assume that your head will capture everything. Friendship will build you or destroy you in life. These days, the devil will not come with two horns. Friends. Listen, if the devil wants to stop you, he won't come through an enemy. He will find a friend that is a loophole that has access to you. Now, he said, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has, so the word fellowship shows us how, with unrighteousness, and what communion, so another word, communion, has light with darkness. 15, and what concord, okay, I don't know what concord is, but write it down. And what concord, so we have fellowship, communion, what? Concord, not Concord airplane, concord, has Christ with what? Belial. And what part has that believeth with an infidel? So he's showing you how to be yoked. And what agreement has the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. And then he went to verse 17 and gave an instruction. I said, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate. He didn't say find systems to be their friend. Come out amongst them and be ye separate, says who? The Lord, and touch not the unclean things, and I will receive you fully. So there is a standard set out here. Now, if I touch on the word an unbeliever, you'll be shocked. Who is an unbeliever? To me, who is an unbeliever? If I believe that Jesus can raise the dead, and somebody from this room says, I don't believe that Jesus can raise the dead, in that realm, he's an unbeliever to me. Now, but that is just a part of what this scriptures is saying. Where I want to focus now is this. He said, be ye separate, says the Lord, and touch not a clean thing. He said, wherefore come out. That means when you check the circle of the people you keep as friends, are they people you will say they are believers? Do they believe what you believe? Are they in agreement with some of the things you are? Are they in concord? So, from these scriptures, you can clearly understand that God did not give you a free ticket to be friends with anybody you see. There is no place in the scriptures where you are permitted to be friends with anybody. And of course, you can see a believing sister in relationship with an unbelieving brother who doesn't go to church. And then you ask the sister, why are you in the relationship? Say, I'm trying to change him. You see how people want to know scriptures more than scriptures. Scripture says to you, what did he say? Huh? He says, separate and come out. You are saying, I am going inside and changing. And that's why the changer becomes the changee. Because you are working against scriptures. You don't change someone by becoming like them. You change when you can separate and they can see the difference. It is your difference that changes somebody. Let me tell you the truth. If you get close to anybody you want to change and you start messing up the same way they are messing up, you can't change them. You've lost what it takes to change them. That's why some of us are in a very, they say, long thing. Because the person you are trying to change now has already changed you. So you are now saying, you know, this is not who I am. This is who I am. You have to follow me for... it wouldn't work. But you can do something about it right now. How? Be ye separated. Come out from amongst them. And be ye separated. And then what happened? Touch not. Brother, you don't used to smoke before. What happened? It's my friends, so they were smoking and they asked me to try. I tried just once and the thing hooked me. Since that day, you became a smoker. And many people don't understand this. If you don't understand that friendship is spiritual more than physical, you will keep being friends with everybody. I want to show you something. Proverbs 27 and verse 17. Proverbs 27 and verse 17 said something. He said, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of a friend. He said, iron sharpeneth iron, so will a man sharpen the countenance of a friend. If you have a very blunt iron as a friend, the little sharpness that you have maintained, you know, when you look at scriptures, it's very easy to be carried away because you are looking at it from one angle. Iron sharpeneth iron. But what kind of iron helps sharpen another iron? Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth what? The countenance. You see, how you carry yourself sometimes is linked to the people you surround yourself with. Some of you are very sad because the people that sharpen you are people that make your issues bigger. You sit with people that the only thing they tell you is, it's this Cyprus. Now suffer, you go suffer till 4 years is over. So every time your countenance is low, your belief system is low. Why? Because the iron that you have made yourself available to isn't sharpening you the right way. Before we continue, you probably want to ask, is it wrong to be a friend to an unbeliever? Is it wrong to be, to be open for an unbeliever to reach you? There's nothing wrong. There must be a motive. If you go to Matthew chapter 9 and verse 10, Matthew chapter 9 and verse 10. And it came to pass as Jesus sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans, sinners, came and sat down with him and his disciples. So Jesus wasn't somebody that used to, holier than thou. The way we find people today. If they see a believer or they see me walking with some people, they say, why are you walking with these people? Thank God you can then just travel to heaven and question Jesus too. In short, he didn't even walk with them on the street alone. He went to their, and they joined him to eat. But you see, some people will just read these scriptures here and just carry these scriptures alone, like this. and said, Jesus sat with publicans. He ate with them. Therefore, I am free to go anywhere and eat with them and do this. Okay, let's read further. Sometimes we just rush scriptures, pick one verse that justifies what we want to do, and we say it's okay, you can roll with anybody. It's not about that. Jesus was. Let's look at the next verse. And when the Pharisees saw it, of course, Pharisees, they always see far. No matter what, they will always see you. So if you are rolling with the raw people, the Pharisees will always catch you. So I can go with anybody to Ezich. Tomorrow I will hear it. Papa, they say they saw you in Ezich with this person. Hey, Papa. I always say, where are these people that always... Because once I enter to that Ezich, I always look around. I will look around. So to know if I hear tomorrow, I will know these are the people that... But I never see anybody. Yeah, tomorrow you will hear. Pharisees, they stay far. They stay far. But they must see you. They must see you. Especially disciples. They must see something. So when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto the disciples, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? Why do you eat with them? And when Jesus heard, he said unto them, please, now, this is the reason Jesus would do that. Now you have to ask yourself, is this the reason I am also friends or I'm also rolling with these people? Are these the reasons? And he said that they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. So Jesus was there as their doctor to change them. But being equally yoked does not mean eating with people. You can always eat with anybody. Because nobody's going to inject immorality through food. I say, as you eat with me, immorality will follow you. No. Already we've discussed in the level of being yoked, commitment, agreement. I can eat with you over dinner table. That doesn't mean I agree with you. I can walk with you on the street. That doesn't mean I accept everything you are doing. I can call you to my house. That doesn't mean I approve what you are doing. So don't get it mixed up. Sometimes I call some people and say, I relate with you, I talk with us, shouldn't make you think I approve. No, I don't approve what you do. I'm very clear on that. But when Jesus had that, he said, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. So if you want to be friends with these kind of people, also we have this kind of people in the church also. If you want to be friends with them, now you are taking the place of a physician. But when the one you are treating start treating you, you know you've lost your license as a physician. So quit being a doctor and simply detach. Now watch this. But they that are sick, verse 13, but go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice. For I am not called the righteous, but sinners to repentance. So there is only one condition. The one, you want to be their physician. To call them out of what they are doing wrong to what is right. If that is not the reason for mingling with an unbeliever or somebody you know that is doing stuff that he or she is not supposed to do, hey, it's time to break off. You can't change anybody that is now treating you. Now, Just one more. Matthew chapter 11. We are in 11, right? Matthew chapter 11. Okay, let's keep reading. Verse 14. Then came the disciples of John, saying, Why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but disciples fast not? Keep going. And Jesus said unto them, Can the children of the bridegroom mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then they shall fast. Verse 16. No man putteth a piece of new cloth unto an old garment, for that which is put to fill it up taketh from the garment, and the rent is worse. 17. Neither do men put new wine in old bottles, else the bottle break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottle perish. But they put new wines into new bottles, and both are preserved. Verse 18. While he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler and worshipped him. Verse 19. Okay, I think we should read verse 11. Matthew 11. Go to Matthew 11. Go to Matthew 11, verse 19. Matthew 11, verse 19. Look at what Jesus said. He said, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they said, behold, a man of glutton, wine babbler, and a wine babbler. Now, watch this. He said, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they said, behold, a wine glutton. Somebody asked me a question here. He said, Jesus said the Son of Man came eating and drinking. What kind of drink? You know, sometimes some people want you to preach so they will hear you from your mouth. So I took these scriptures. I said, brother, let's read it together. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a gluttonous and what? A wine baba. That means they saw him drinking what? Wine. And the brother asked, alcohol or non-alcohol? I didn't answer that one, because the Bible did not say, did not decide if it alcohol or non-alcohol. So we're not going to talk about that here. He said, a friend of Republicans and a sinner, but wisdom is justified. This is what Jesus said. Wisdom is justified by her children. Some Bible use the word wisdom is justified by her fruit. So if you are friends with some kind of people, what is the wisdom behind it? What fruits are you producing? Now, let's come back home. Sister, if you are a friend to her, what is the wisdom behind it? What kind of fruit are you people producing? Gossip? You are lifting one another up. What is the fruit behind it? What is the wisdom behind it? So, you don't choose friends according to I like him or I like her. It's not according to likeness. It's not that we agree a lot. In what sense? Probably both of you, both of you are already struggling with gossip, so it's easier for both of you to agree. Well, we work together because we agree. In what sense? What is the wisdom? So Jesus said here, he said, but wisdom is justified. That means every friendship must be weighed to be justified by wisdom. And this is how it is. Friendship. I realized this 4 years ago, and I stopped making friends. This sister, Audrey, this sister and this sister becomes friends today. Whether you like it or not, iron is sharpening iron. There is something of this one that will go to this one, and there's something of this one that will go to this one. But if this one is the physician, and this is the patience. Patient. Then, physician must be careful. While you are going to treat the patient, you wear gloves. You cover your hair. You wear your lab coat. Before you communicate, you test the temperature, heartbeat. Because you are a physician, it means I am whole and I don't want to be contaminated with some of us physicians. Do you have AIDS? Let me test. You know what I mean? No protection, no barrier. So if the patient has got Ebola, spiritual Ebola, doctor, and by the time doctor catches Ebola, both of them are now patients. They now need another physician. Protect yourself in friendships. Don't be too prone in your friendships. There are friends you deal with from. Are you avoiding them? You are not avoiding them. They have spiritual Ebola. So you have to teach them from afar. Why? If you dare go close, they influence you. Do you know that time you used to, while we were in Nigeria, you see, while I was in Nigeria, those days when, we live in the boys' dormitory, when we see guys that smoke, normal cigarettes, our body itches us. Itches us. Those days. Not these days. These days, we can finish lectures. While we're on break, I will go and sit with my students. All of them are smoking like this. Around me. Oh, jam, we were talking. One day, I was in their midst. They were just smoking. And I asked myself, I say, oh boy, you don't change, oh. What happened? Association made me sort of calm down. Not that I support it, but now it means nothing to me. That means whether I like it or not, my standard in that area, that once you start in Nigeria, then I will just walk away. Now I can just stay there. Why? Once the physician forgets that he's a physician and doesn't cover himself, he becomes like the patient. And some of us in our friendship, we've become like patients. So, what happens? When the devil knows that you are a great physician and that he needs to stop you, he will bring a patient that will try to get you to treat without protection. Whether you like it or not, evil communication corrupts good manners. Friendship. So 4 years ago when I knew that, I said, okay. Okay, is that so? Once the physician loses the capacity to treat this person, you cannot regain it back. Just find another physician to treat. Friends, check the people you surround yourself with. Now, I'm not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't even want to go there. That's not. I can't be talking about all those things every day because talking about it doesn't change. Papa, just leave us. Let's learn by experience. And you are learning. You are learning. You are learning. So, physician. Who is in medical class here? Medical school, nursing, medicine, anybody? Oh, I'm spiritual. See, prophetic. Okay. If she's sick, but you don't know exactly how sick she is, how do you start up in the first place? Or you never reach that. You never reach that.
You want me to speak? Wear gloves, make sure, take blood tests, take temperature, make sure you cover yourself up, and yeah, basically.
So you take the blood test to know what's in the blood. All right, you do the temperature test, you check the heartbeat, you check everything, how it's working, to know how sick your patient is. Why? Because knowing how sick your patient is will also help you to know the kind of treatment and approach you're going to give to them. That means if you have 3 friends, you need to have 3 approaches. Please, are you hearing me tonight? If I have 3 of them as friends, I can't treat 3 of them equally. One is crazier than the 2. Maybe this one, I've known that this one is not that sick. So I can tell this one, come and visit me. But if this one is very sick, I can't say come and visit me because patient A came and visited me and nothing happened. Now you invited patient B who is in ICU. Somebody you should deal with intensive care. Sisters, there are some brothers you don't say come and visit. If they land in your compound, you're already in trouble. Access to your, once they know your house, you're already finished. Know the kind of patients you are dealing with. Do you notice that sometimes you take a patient to the hospital, the doctors will do pam 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 and say, we cannot treat this one, take him to the general hospital. There are some friends that come your way and say, hey, there is no treatment. We don't have the expertise in this place. Refer them to another doctor. You are not all-round doctor. There are some ladies, when you meet them, their eyes are doing ishaka, ishaka, ishaka. Don't treat. Especially if you are anointed. Don't treat those ones. Refer them to one mama who is already matron in a very big. That's the one that can treat them. Don't treat. I'm using this analogy. I'm not saying when people come to you as a friend, you say, can I treat you? I hope you are wise enough to know what I'm saying. That I'm not talking to you about hospital here. I'm telling you that when people come into your life, there are people you can't really handle. Accept it. Even me, as I am right now, there are some people I can't handle. Once they start coming, God says, you can't handle this one. Those are the ones you apply the scriptures that say, run from every appear. That means it just appeared. It's not manifesting yet. You're already running. There are some you don't say, he that thinketh. Yeah, that's why I say he that thinketh is stand. Thank you. Now, this is where I ended. So now I've preached myself happy. Because God will always say to me, don't assume they know. Tell them. People will come to this nation, their life is beautiful, everything is going well. Suddenly they meet the wrong people. That's the end. He said, go tell them. Jesus had 12 disciples, yet they were all relating to him in different level of friendship. 12. Sometimes he will go with the 12, right? Sometimes he will just collect 3. And the Bible mentioned that sometimes only John, the one that means even Jesus had some levels. Sometimes 72. Sometimes he will send 72. Then we have the multitude. So Jesus had 5 realms of friendship. He had John, closest to him. You can prove that John was closest to him. John was the only one at the foot of the cross at the end of the day. Peter and James, they were a bit closer. But when something happened, Peter denied it, but this one denied it. But only Paul was there. Only John was there. So you can't say, I'm a friend to everybody. You know, have a large heart. Have a large heart. Please, I'm not talking about love. You love everybody. But the level of friendship. What are you doing? You are guiding your heart with all diligence. And then you see some people, Papa, can I be your friend? Who bore you? Where are you coming from? You can't be my friend. Sorry. On what grounds? What are we agreeing for? What treatment do you need? Know your treatment. And also, as you check the people you make friends, find people who can treat you. Find real friends that can sharpen you. Find real friends that can encourage you. Find real friends that will not talk down on you, that will not see your diseases and expose them out there. Find real friends that can protect you, that can encourage you when you are down, that can see you in your mess and still tell you you are the righteousness of God. Find friends that can keep you down when you need to be down. Find friends that will lift you up. Even when you fail, they will tell you you can do it again. Find friends that will encourage you to walk.